Finally, after months of silence, a new YNW Melly update has been released. Breaking news has been released of YNW Melly requesting to leave jail immediately to treat an abscess in his teeth. Now, this is due to his permanent diamond grill. It's been reported that YNW Melly is unable to properly clean his teeth and allegedly does not have access to a regular toothbrush or even dental floss. Now, as many say, this is a tactic to get YNW Melly released from jail until his trial begins, as there's already been countless delays in the trial. Most recently, YNW Melly's trial was delayed after a massive update in the case was released on July 6th, with the new paperwork being released revealing that YNW Melly is no longer facing the penalty within his case. Now, reports are being released of very sloppy paperwork by the feds as well as the court system, resulting in the penalty being dropped off of the table. Allegedly, this did not go over well with YNW Sackchaser and YNW Juvie's parents, who were pushing for YNW Melly to face the penalty. There was also reports of good defenses coming out from YNW Melly's side and his lawyers, as YNW Melly's mother wrote on Instagram stating, "The penalty has officially been removed from the YNW Melly case. Thank you, Jesus. Hashtag Free Melly 2022. Now, with the trial beginning very soon, the court is starting to see the defenses from YNW Melly's side, just as 100K Track said in an interview with DJ Academics, as he stated this.
He built a real great solid team away from just being innocent because he wouldn't do such a crime. He prepared himself and got a proper, defense. Their job is to handle themselves in trial, not on social media. You guys are taking it that way. If they say they got DNA in a car, I'm just gonna tell you, Melly DNA was found in the car. You're gonna think, yeah, his DNA was found in the car the day of the. Oh, he jumped in a car and his DNA was in the car. He did it, okay? But you're not gonna put the fact that this was his car for 6-7 months on those documents and dockets and just automatically be like, yo, he's fried. You don't even know what the defense is. You don't even know what the rebuttal is. You don't even know why that situation occurred. You hear ballistics flying. You don't know what the defense is. You hear this, you hear that. You get what I'm saying?
I'm gonna be honest.
Now, if YNW Melly's defense team has done as good as a job as sources claim, YNW Melly could be released from jail within the next few months, as the trial is beginning. Now, while things are looking very good for YNW Melly, there was also another concerning update at the last court hearing. Now, at this court hearing, a detective in the YNW Melly case stated in court he believes the rapper was likely the one who committed the act towards the two YNW affiliates. According to documents obtained by XXL, Detective Christopher Williams will be testifying against YNW Melly in the trial. It's been stated that Detective Williams is known to be one of the greatest detectives at recreating crime scenes to build an image on how certain crimes truly went down. Williams reconstructed the scene of the crime by using human-like figures in the same Jeep the four YNW affiliates were driving in. He then used firearms towards these human-like figures, with everything lining up the same as the actual crime scene inside of the Jeep. It also revealed that YNW Melly most likely did this act towards YNW Sackchaser and Juvie, only 8 inches away from their faces inside of the vehicle. Now, this is due to the aftermath of the incident, with everything that went all over the roof of the vehicle and as well as the side. This proves that all signs of who did the act towards YNW Juvie and YNW Sackchaser were sitting in YNW Melly's seat inside of the vehicle. Now, here's the photo of where everyone was sitting inside of the car. YNW Bortland, being the driver of the vehicle, had YNW Melly sitting directly behind him, leaving YNW Sackchaser and Juvie both on the opposite side of the vehicle. Now, using what is called the stick method, Detective Williams used plastic sticks to match the trajectory of the firearm that was used. The trajectory from YNW Melly's seat shared a perfect match to where YNW Sackchaser and Juvie were affected after being examined at the hospital. Shortly after that YNW Melly court hearing was over, this photo was shared to his Instagram with a caption saying, "It's about that time. I'll be home this year," getting tons of love in the comments below. YNW Melly still believes he's innocent and will be returning home this year, as from his reaction during the hearing. Now, inside of the courtroom, however, things got very emotional, as friends of YNW Melly were in attendance alongside Melly's family. But here's where it gets interesting, as once the court hearing was over, YNW Melly was then transported back to the county jail. Sources claim people from YNW Melly's cell block was awaiting his arrival back from the court hearing. Once arriving back to his cell block and heading over to his jail cell, an altercation occurred between YNW Melly and another rapper named Rico Reckless, as YNW Melly's official Twitter account put out this statement saying, "To all my loved ones and close friends, I want to let everyone know that my phone privilege have been revoked and I'm no longer allowed to call or have video visitation. That is the reason why no one has received any calls from me. But do not worry, I am in great spirits." Now, just weeks before the YNW Melly trial was supposed to begin, the Florida rapper ran into this altercation, as we saw reports being released stating YNW Melly being placed in solitary confinement after getting into an altercation inside of jail with another rapper named Rico Reckless from Chicago, Illinois. They are both awaiting their trials to begin. Now, YNW Melly inside of jail has allegedly always been a problem with newer inmates, and this is why many are stating that YNW Melly's lawyers are trying to do everything to get him officially released from jail. So with YNW Melly's lawyers trying to get him released, an outline of his entire case was then laid out, and here is how it truly begins. At roughly 3:30 a.m., YNW Melly was leaving a recording studio with YNW Bortland, Sack Chaser, and Juvie. The four rappers hopped inside of their Jeep and started driving home. YNW Bortland, being the driver of the vehicle, had YNW Melly sitting directly behind him, leaving Sack Chaser and Juvie both on the opposite side of the car. YNW Bortland, while driving home, then made a quick turn into a side parking lot located on a back street. With the vehicle sitting in an empty parking lot with no one around, law enforcement believe that YNW Bortland created a distraction inside of the car. Meanwhile, YNW Melly did the act towards Sack Chaser and Juvie. Using YNW Melly's cell phone as a GPS device, they noticed the car then sat in park inside of this parking lot for roughly 30 minutes with no movement. GPS evidence then showed YNW Melly stepping out of the Jeep as his cell phone was located in his jeans pocket. They noticed that YNW Melly started walking around his vehicle twice before hopping back in. The theory is that YNW Melly stepped out of the car and used his own firearm against it, making it appear as if they went through a drive-by by rival street members. As after time then passed, YNW Bortland then started to drive Sack Chaser and Juvie to the local hospital for medical attention. Meanwhile, on GPS evidence, YNW Melly was seen running home down the street on foot. And this is where it gets very concerning. As law enforcement have obtained YNW Melly's cell phone, they noticed that 3 hours after the incident went down, they noticed that YNW Melly revealed in his Instagram DMs almost a confession, as YNW Melly was having a conversation with an Instagram burner account about what just happened. As the passing of YNW Sack Chaser and Juvie was just starting to go viral and hitting news headlines, Complex reported a new piece of evidence stating there is one Instagram exchange that took place hours after the passings, which was obtained by Complex via a public records request. In it, YNW Melly's Instagram account says, "I did that," in one message, followed 2 minutes later by another message saying, "Shh." Now, the timing of these Instagram DMs will be getting used by the state to make the case that those messages amount to an admission of YNW Melly's guilt. A few messages later, the man YNW Melly was speaking with messages Melly once again, telling him there's a Sig 9 on the market. As YNW Melly replied to this message saying, "I want it." Law enforcement are gonna try to match the firearm shells that were found at the scene of the crime to what they believe is a Sig 9. Now, YNW Melly's cell phone revealed most of the evidence in this court case. In more evidence files, it states that these particular cell phones, which were both iPhone 10s, were on the T-Mobile network. And so T-Mobile has a very interesting feature where it will tell you the environment the cell phone is in. So from these cell phone records, I can tell you the exact moment demons got out of the car and staged the drive-by location. Now, also on YNW Melly's cell phone, there was a video found on the phone. As the evidence report says, and I quote, "Then also, we have a video of Mr. Demons admitting to doing an act towards two individuals in the head." This video was on Mr. Demon's cell phone, which was brought to my office by Jameson Francis. That's how we had that, and that is all of the evidence that Your Honor has. Now, while things are looking good for YNW Melly's defense team, putting out new evidence which will hopefully get Melly released from jail, as well as the latest emergency about his dental issues, YNW Melly could be getting released before the trial begins. But it's important to note that there is also a ton of evidence stacking up against him. What do you truly believe will happen? Leave a comment down below.